really wet. Thank you.
Well, we can't control the weather, One. We've got to have a go at it, don't we?
No, when it's still drizzling and you send me out when it's still drizzling, that's not playing the weather. That's risking the car when we don't need to.
A chain reaction quickly ensues. However, Schumacher's prayers are answered at turn 2. Oil from a terminally wounded car may have been the catalyst, but that won't make Trulli's predicament any easier to take. Coulthard's advantage is wiped out thanks to the arrival of the safety car. He prepares to start from scratch, but inexplicably leaves the track. Hopefully for the Scots' sake, there is a mechanical reason for that embarrassing slip-up.
You know, the biggest difference I feel at the moment is these satin trousers with the fitted underpants is giving me an interesting time as I walk.
Takuma Sato gives Eddie Jordan plenty to complain about.
A little bit afraid to come to Sao Paulo because I think it's too dangerous. What do you think about that?
Don't come.
I'm here.
So enjoy.
This brought out the red flags and the medical car. Normally, this would have made the area safe.
But then when I just hear the car hitting the grass, I just look and the car just avoid me by this much.
The Minardi has the inside line. Massa tries to squeeze him onto the grass and pays a heavy price. The replay shows that it was wheel hub failure that sent Raikkonen flying across the gravel. That stall leads to the resetting of the electrics. Third visit to the pits within 3 laps after mistakenly thinking his team had called him in. Mark Webber was first to suffer during Friday practice. The demand for new parts remained brisk as qualifying saw Alex Young take to the curbs. The Minardis were having a hard time just staying on the track. Sunday warm-up saw Webber suffer the killer blow.
The actual part concerned in Mark's car today was a brand new manufactured part fitted to the car this morning, and it's clear to see the failure is along this stress line. Now, although we have other brand new rear wings here, and although we have another earlier design of rear wing that does not incorporate those rivets, so sadly we are withdrawing.
Raikkonen suffered a spectacular rear wing failure, providing a stern test for Button's reactions. The Finn's Minardi-esque accident brings the total of broken wings to 4 this weekend. The Colombian is given the all-clear, but too soon. The fuel hose is still connected, and the lollipop man is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ralph's depressing race goes out with a bang. Michael offers little brother a lift, but Ralph declines a ride on the victory taxi. Ralph finds his preferred choice of lift offers a unique sitting position, while Frentzen gets the conquering hero treatment. The Dennis look on as Coulthard finds one of the few ways to get your hands on a race-winning trophy this season. Spectacular show for the grandstands. Heidfeld battles for 5th, but the German is too eager on the brakes and the repercussions are horrific.
I saw that it was right in front of me. Good shot. You're right, tax. You're right, tax.
Sato's non-reaction prolongs the agony, while Heidfeld is safely evacuated. The replay illustrates what a lucky escape Montoya had. Still on course for a points finish. Asia-Tech engine failure sets Alex Young up for a long walk back to the pit. Villeneuve's second stop sees him outside the points, but another fiery Honda cremation sends the Canadian running for cover. For the second year running, Barrichello must yield to his teammate, but this time he has to forfeit a win. Is that an order too far? Rubens conceals the plan for as long as possible, to the utter disgust of the Austrian fans. The ferocity of the crowd's reaction stuns Schumacher and Barrichello. Under pressure from the thousands of Austrian fans, Schumacher does what he feels is the right thing, but that will only get him into trouble with the FIA. What could have been a perfect weekend for Barrichello has ended with crowd hostility and an intense media grilling.
Do you imagine doing the same thing at Williams?
Team orders? No. They tried that last year. It didn't work.
It didn't seem to help Kimi Räikkönen. Saturday practice saw Räikkönen join the Sandoval Hall of Shame, and a problem with the oil system blighted his qualifying session. The replay shows that the Scot paid a heavy price for riding the curbs. Sato was told to let his more experienced teammate through. He just manages to do that, but his execution left a lot to be desired. The Sauber driver hits back with a spot of late braking, but he's lost all front downforce. He desperately wants to redeem himself after his poor start, but braking too late into the Nouvelle chicane ends his fight back. Button tries the inside line, Panis refuses to yield, but 2 into 1 won't work. The very lucky Brazilian was eventually able to walk away. McNish is hampered by gear selection woes. Home turf brings out the aggression in the younger Schumacher as he barges his way through. Jordan also keep it in the family.
Any damage, Giancarlo? Any damage? What about tyres?
Coulthard gets alongside, but that doesn't account for the Colombian's worn-out rubber. Sympathy is a rare commodity in a situation like this.
No, I knew it was a risk to go around the outside. Congratulations.
I gave you space. You know, my car is fun.
I spun. I know that. You hit me. You think I don't know that?
Traction control is useless when there's no traction to control, but that won't change Coulthard's opinion in a hurry. Montoya consolidates pole ahead of the Schumacher brothers, while Massa goes for a suicidal wide line. The Italian lost the front wing when he took to the curbs at over 170 miles per hour. They were forced to run just one car on race day. Due to their ongoing financial crisis, the Arrows team didn't seem to be in a hurry to do much at all.
Isn't it amazing what you can find to do when there is nothing to do?
The reason we're not running is because the management have taken a conscious decision on the advice we were given by the people who are negotiating the deal.
Both cars made an appearance during qualifying, primarily to avoid disciplinary action from the FIA.
How was that?
That's what it was, 18.4. Now you got to hope that Michael goes fast.
Both cars ended up outside the 107% threshold. Mission accomplished, the team went home. Meanwhile, Michael Schumacher was trying too hard to get the job done. Honda's race takes an early nosedive as Sato and Panis collide. Irvine will reach rock bottom much sooner. The Jaguar driver was in with a shout of the team's first points since Australia, but rear wing failure neuters the big cat. Spanner and waved yellow flags are thrown into the works by McNish's Toyota. There's oil on the track, right in the path of the race leader. The Finn goes wide and Schumacher takes the advantage. But does the Finn's mistake cancel out the no overtaking rule? Ferrari ignore the controversy as they prepare to welcome the world champion. Michael Schumacher wins the French Grand Prix to claim his 5th world title, equaling the record of legendary Argentinian Juan Manuel Fangio. That incident couldn't be further from Michael Schumacher's mind as his monumental achievement begins to sink in. The best driver, the best team, and the best car have combined to crush the opposition in record time. This party is likely to go on all the way to Germany. Wasn't an isolated case. Luckily, Raikkonen's left rear blowout didn't send him on a collision course. Until he reaches the final turn. The pounding from the blown tyre damaged his undertray and a brake duct. As Barrichello crosses the line to win the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Beautiful performance. Well done. Thank you.
The Brazilians' 2nd win of the season helps Ferrari to their 4th consecutive Constructors' title. Montoya certainly didn't appreciate the Finn's lack of awareness. The Colombian felt that Raikkonen had obstructed his line into the bus stop chicane. As usual, Montoya, who qualified 5th, wasn't shy about letting his feelings known.
Raikkonen, what a f***ing idiot!
Davidson finds his own speed too hot to handle.
I just pushed too hard around one of the fastest corners on the track and just kicked a wheel onto the curb and game over.
It's a state of affairs that's soon blown asunder. Fisichella wins the prize for the season's most spectacular engine failure. A nasty incident between Sato and Raikkonen saw qualifying stopped in the closing minutes. Sato had been on a flying lap, while Raikkonen was on his first lap. Whether the Finn saw the Jordan or not was subject to heated debate. The Spaniard is that bit later on the brakes, but will ultimately pay the price for his ambition. Massa immediately retaliates and gets help from an unexpected source.
Pedro, let Massa pass, let Massa pass.
Pedro complies, but Massa takes the racing line too early. The mechanics are on standby, but he won't make it that far. Besides, he could do with walking off his anger.
Retire, this guy is stupid.
His frustrations might be eased when he hears that Massa is out and in trouble.
If you see Felipe, the steward, he shouldn't leave the racetrack. The stewards want to see him after the race.
Montoya's had his soul stop and continues to hold 3rd until chassis problems break his grip on a podium position. Barrichello experienced the worst sensation you can get from a World Championship car on Friday when his Ferrari crashed into the infamous Indy wall.
Went sideways, and I was lucky that the heat, the way it went into the wall, it did absorb quite a lot. So I'm perfectly fine.
As he takes up pole position. His parking is more supermarket than motor speedway, but that's a minor distraction for Jean Todt, as we are seconds from the lights going out. One of them will have to yield or there will be carnage. Sure enough, Ralph's belated braking sets up his team's nightmare scenario. De La Rosa's Cosworth incinerates itself, while an over-eager Marshall puts the Spaniard in harm's way.
The marshals got me overexcited. They told me just to jump out of the circuit. I jumped and there was a river, so I just went into the river. I mean, they should have told me,
Confusion reigns at Indy. Who won the United States Grand Prix? The timing system gives it to Barrichello by 0.011 of a second, one of the closest finishes in Formula One history.
Do you think Michael actually intended to let Rubens win that race?
You need to talk to him.
What did he say on the radio then?
We'll come back to you on that.
Today, I thought it was a good opportunity to go equal over the line. We tried, and we failed by a little bit.
The Toyota flew into the guardrails, but everyone breathed a sigh of relief when the Scot got out relatively unscathed. His car was totally destroyed, and the session was stopped while repairs were carried out to the safety barriers. McNish had a lucky escape. Ends his tenure with the Swiss team on a flat note. Michael Schumacher is on the podium. The five-time world champion scores almost double the points of his teammate, while Montoya clinches third place. Jenson Button wins the Battle of the Renaults, while Jacques Villeneuve ends up in 12th. Felipe Massa's first season nets 4 points, while Webber and Sato score 2 points apiece. 4 drivers failed to score. Ferrari have the same number of constructors' points as the rest of the field put together. Every team scored at least 2 points this season. F1 2002 was owned by Ferrari. Many teams made gigantic steps forward, but still weren't in the same league as the world champions.